Hello everyone, my name is Łukasz Malinowski, the Internet of Things advisor and trainer. And today I'd like to talk about the very important topic of the IoT-enabled products and services positioning and how we should position them in the market to make actually sense to the end customers and how to prove the business value we offer. Before I begin, please say hi in chat so I know that at least one person is listening and I'm not talking to myself. Once that's confirmed, I will start the timer and we can go straight to the main topic. Today's session won't be as technical as our previous ones, but it's going to be extremely important from the positioning perspective, and I do believe it will provide a lot of value to everyone attending our meeting. So, yeah, once again, please just say hi, and we are already ready to start. I will share two stories with you. One related to the B2B market, and the other one related to the B2C deployment of the IoT product. And I will show you how we can position them, how we can actually make the value transparent to the end users. Because it is not always obvious, and I will show you based on my own example how I missed a value proposition of one of the IoT products that I saw, and all the thought process how I actually realized the value it offered. So hopefully at least one person is listening, because I do not see any comments in the chat. Despite on that, let me start the timer and I will go to the main content. Hopefully someone is listening. If not, then you can always watch this recording later on. So let's start with the first IoT product, and that is the connected fridge. I read about connected fridge offering a long time ago, and to be honest, at first I thought that it is total overkill. Like, I was not able to see any value proposition offered by this product. I do not need to have any fridge connected to the internet simply to check if I've got a milk at my home or not, right? If I forget to buy that milk, I can always buy it tomorrow. That's not a big deal. So myself, as the homeowner, I was not really feeling that I'm the end user of that product, and I thought that this end product totally missed the point and the market. But after some time, I met with the business owner, and our conversation totally changed my perspective on this specific product. So that person owned many restaurants in multiple cities around the country. And when you own a restaurant, you need to have a fridge to store ingredients to prepare meals. More importantly, you need to manage the supply chain. So it's not only about having the ingredients, it's to have those ingredients when you need them. And that is very important. So from perspective of that business owner, the connected fridge was not a device. It was service that allowed this person to focus on the business activities, not on the devices themselves. Because as you can tell, for this specific example, that person actually had a huge fleet of connected devices, but was not focused on those devices as the products themselves. What was the actual value for this specific person was that the required goods, the ingredients to prepare meals, was delivered on time and was delivered in proper conditions. So all of a sudden, everything started to make sense for me. And I realized that I totally missed the value proposition. I was focused on the product, and I was contemplating all the features and the sensors, connectivity, all of that. That was not really important. Actually, it was totally irrelevant for this solution, because what was important, what was the actual value proposition, was that that was not a product. It was service, and well, it should be positioned as a service from the very beginning, but it was not. It was marketed as a product. So this is something very important, and that I think everyone should focus on and remember that when you work with the B2B type of customer, they are typically not interested in products, but they are very much interested in services, especially services that actually help them operate their own business. As a different example, I would like to take you for a long, long journey, and I would like you to meet farmers. Farmers that live in a distant land and work on coffee plantations. They take care over coffee. They help it grow, and they maintain those plants in a good shape. And once ready, they gather the coffee beans. Once they gather enough of coffee beans, they ship them from their location to some other distant location. And in that other distant location, those coffee beans are processed. And they are once again packed and shipped to yet another distant location when those coffee beans can be finally processed and served, and we will get the cup of coffee at the very end of this process. So this is a long, long journey for those coffee beans to go through the plant to the cup of coffee that we can enjoy. And once again, as the end user, as the consumer, we can ask, why should we even care? Like, isn't it the same example as it used to be with the connected fridge, right? That I was not really seeing any value in having connected fridge, why the coffee drinker should see any value in knowing the whole chain, uh, how the coffee actually arrived to his or her table. But here, if we see about potential value, we can use the following positioning. So, as the business owner, we do not sell coffee, we sell experience, and experience is extremely powerful thing to sell. So let me show you how we can actually do that, how we can create a framework where we sell the experience to the end user, and what types of benefits we might get from that. In order to do so, let's take a look under the hood. So once again, this is the whole production chain of our coffee. And you can see that we've got various devices on various stages of this whole journey. Like, so we can track the location. We can tell precisely from which area that specific cup of coffee originated from, because we can track the beans. We can take pictures of the plants growing, of farmers working on the field. That creates very powerful relation between the farmers and the actual end user that is enjoying the cup of coffee. We can store the conditions under which that specific plant grew, that got direct impact on the final taste of our coffee. Of course, we can monitor also the various properties of the beans themselves. Once the coffee is shipped, maybe in the middle of the ocean, there is no network coverage. So we can still track the position, we can still track the environment where our coffee beans are stored, but we do not have any connectivity. But that's not an issue. We can store this data offline and leverage it later on. When we process this coffee, we can take pictures from the roasting process. We can store the temperature where that was used to roast our coffee. Once again, this got direct impact on the quality of the end product. Um, and we've got lots different insights into the whole process. And at the very end, we've got our coffee machine that can also be connected, can also provide details like the temperature of water used to actually brew our coffee and some other parameters. So how does that all of that data, all of those devices makes any sense, and how do they transfer into the experience? Well, what we actually are selling is we are selling this little tag, not the coffee itself. And what is so special about that tag? It's that it got the NFC tag or QR code or whatever unique identifier that is our key to unlock all of that experience that is under the hood. And that experience can be accessed by the end user, by the coffee drinker, directly from his or her mobile phone. And all of a sudden, that person got access to the pictures, so can see how the plant grew, how farmers worked on that specific plant, how they gathered beans. Uh, that person got access to the location from where these bean originated. So once again, it creates that experience, that close relation between our end user and the farmers and the origin of the coffee itself. In order to store the origin information, we could use blockchain or any other tool, because once again, in this specific example, the technology is not that important. What is important is that we created the experience that is very unique for the end users that we want to serve. And at the end of the day, this coffee drinker got the end-to-end journey in front of him while drinking that cup of coffee, and this creates extremely powerful experience and provides the actual value, right? So those devices do not provide any value. Like the technical details that we use to make the whole magic work are not that important. Like the end user does not care about all of those devices, right? And that person does not care about any connectivity issues that we had along the way. What this person cares about is that they've got delicious cup of coffee and they can enjoy it while reading the history of those exact beans that we used to brew the coffee, right? And all of the backend of those devices, servers, the IoT technology is totally not relevant to provide the end user experience from that perspective. So this is what I would like you to remember from today's meeting, and what I would like you to focus on, that when you work with the B2B customers, they are looking for a service that solves some specific issue or challenge they've got running their business. They are not really interested in the products most of the time. But the end users, like the B2C type of scenarios, they are more interested into experiences. So we could leverage all of those tools, all of those fancy technologies that we've got at our disposal to create very unique user experience, and position it as the actual value. Do not focus on the technology itself, because for most people, technology does not provide any value, and this is not what is actually important. So I hope that what that was interesting for you. Once again, this was a pretty high level topic that I wanted to cover. but hopefully it provided you some interesting insights into how to actually leverage IoT to create IoT-enabled products, services, offerings, and experiences. So that's all from my side today. I wish you a great day. Until next time. My name is Łukasz Malinowski, and I'm the Internet of Things advisor and trainer.